don't go to sell your properties. Okay, first make relationships, because making relationships is the most important thing. Business will come automatically.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Networking and Beyond. Today we have with us one of the icons of BNI Bangalore. He is Mr. Santosh Bhurani, a real estate agent who's been in the industry for over 25 years now. Santosh Bhurani has many accolades in BNI and in business that a lot of people in his field have not achieved. In BNI, he's invited over 1,000 members and inducted over 60 of them. He's also given business worth over 60 crores and has been one of the most highest contributing members of the entire region. He's also been named Realtor of the Year several times by many construction companies. So ladies and gentlemen, let's embark on this wonderful journey of this man's story and learnings of life. Santosh sir, welcome to Networking and Beyond. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir. How does it feel to be on Networking and Beyond?
Thank you, Lalit, for the invite. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Sir, the first time I saw you was when I came as a guest to the Champions chapter, and I was quite overwhelmed when your name was called out, and you being somebody who's so successfully done things in BNI and in business. I was wondering that day itself, how did it all start for somebody like this? You look, when somebody looks at you, especially for me, I'm thinking, okay, I have to better think twice before talking to somebody who's so knowledgeable. So I want to know, where did it all start, sir?
I'm a Bangalorean, born in Bangalore. I did my schooling in Bishop Cottons.
Okay.
In school, I used to sit in the first row.
Okay.
Very obedient student, very silent. Then went on to college, MES college.
Okay.
Continued the same thing there. I was in the first row. But in second year of my college, it was like a turnover. I did a leadership training course called MILT.
Okay.
And from that moment onwards, for the next 4 years, I was sitting in the last bench. So that was a great changeover. I did my BCom in MES college.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's lovely. I think one thing we share in common is that even I come from Bishop Cottons, and it's nice to interview another Cottonian.
Oh,
So,
I'm from Pope House.
oh, I'm from Pettigrew.
Okay, cool.
Well, that's nice. So I think we have a good start here. We're Cottonians. We definitely understand this. And sir, moving on, you also mentioned about MILT. Right?
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. I haven't heard of this program, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching would love to know about this MILT program. What is it?
MILT is a leadership training
Okay.
course based on Dale Carnegie's teachings.
Okay.
The full form of MILT is McGrath's Institute of Leadership Training.
Okay.
It was conducted by Operash Acharya, and it was a life changer for me.
Okay. So, like, what did you learn from that program? Was there any specific?
Yeah, it
takeaway
was
for you?
public speaking. I had a fear of public speaking, memory training, dramatics. I landed up to come first in India, and I got the first prize for dramatics. So
Okay.
it opened up a lot of things for me.
Okay, superb. And I think getting trained, especially from somebody like Dale Carnegie, I've definitely read his book, is a very valuable insight for somebody who's 19 years or 20 years, because not many people get that opportunity, isn't it? And what was the reason that you got this opportunity?
All credit to my mother, because she saw me that I'm a very reserved person, and she wanted me to open out in the world. And when this opportunity came by and she told me go and do it, I hesitated, but when I did it, as I told you, it's been a game changer. I was 19 and I was the youngest guy in the entire class.
Oh, wow. What were like the other people in the...
Right from my age 19 up to 65.
Oh,
Up to 65.
And I think that becomes a very nice knowledge sharing circle, because everybody has different experiences.
Exactly.
And it's very nice. I'm pretty sure that would have been a great experience. So moving on, when I was preparing for this interview, one thing that I was going through your website, I was going through some of your videos, on YouTube and understood there's this one line that you keep using and which I'm very intrigued by, which says delivering 100% success from a 1% possibility. Now, you have to take a moment to understand this, right? And to understand this from your perspective, I want to hear from you, why this specific tagline?
I told you the inspiration throughout my life has been my mother. So I'll quickly tell you a little bit more about this so that you understand. So we used to come from a very big joint family, and at the early stages we had to split from joint family and come separately. So my parents, me and my brother, we were literally out without anything, and my parents had to struggle it out to make a living for themselves. And we went through very tough times during those days. My mother started a tailoring business with only one machine. And during those times, unfortunately, I had a setback in my health. I was diagnosed with polio, and my mother and father, they took all things out to see that I get treated well. Went to various doctors, various cities, and finally, at the age of 10, we landed up in Pondicherry, in Jipma Hospital. So there, the doctor S.S. Yadav told us that we can treat your son's thing, and there's only 1% chance. Okay, and the operation was costly, and there's only 1% chance. Would you like to take the risk? And my mother, she didn't fumble. She says, yes, I would like to go ahead. The operation went on, and after 6 months of removing the plaster, it was a great success. And this is where I got the tagline of delivering 100% success from 1% possibility. I keep using this in my life, in my business, everywhere I go.
Sir, I think that's a very nice, relatable tagline you've picked up. But I want to ask you one question. Now, when you were that young, and when you were going through things like that, I'm pretty sure you would have had a lot of doubt in terms of how things would go, or things wouldn't be in your control, for which your parents did help you. But today, when you look back, is this the moment, life-changing moment, which built you to become this person who is so successful, or that made you strong enough for life?
It didn't hit me. Obviously, it didn't hit me at that time.
Yeah.
But when I got into business and I started relating with other people, and I came across a lot of transactions where I had to meet people, and I came across instances where things were impossible to happen. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I used to take that challenge and make it happen. So gradually, over a period of time, when I sat and started recollecting what was happening and why did it happen, then it occurred to me that yes, I am following the same footsteps unknowingly of my mother, that I'm taking up the entire challenge with full on and giving my 100%, even if the chances is 1%. So that's where I said this is going to be my tagline, delivering 100% success from 1% possibility.
So you keep mentioning your mother. I would love to know a little more about your mother. Okay. Like, what made her so strong? What? Give us some background story of that.
As I told you, after the family partition, so we shifted to Kumarapak, and my father and mother, they wanted to start a business, and my mother knew tailoring, and my uncle advised my mother that why don't you start taking orders from the neighbors. So she started taking orders of dresses, blouses, and then she came to know that it's doing well. So we added another machine, employed another person, and slowly they went on building this team. And she was like a one-man army, obviously with the support of my father. Believe me, from a single machine, okay, taking orders from the neighbors, it went on to a place where we built an empire. Today, if you ask anyone, Galaxy Tailors in Kumarapak, everybody knows about it, because all the three chief ministers, whether it's Bangarappa or Yediyurappa or S.M. Krishna, their wives and children used to visit our place. All the celebrity women like Shamla Bave, Padmini Ravi, Suma Sudendra, they all used to visit. So just imagine, from a single machine taking orders from neighbors, it went on to be the biggest, the best, and the first organized boutique. So that itself is a story of delivering 100% success from 1% possibility.
Correct. And I'm pretty sure it came from a very authentic place, sir, because in the last 2.5 years, I've seen some really successful businesses, and there are very few stories that start with one machine and become a brand
Correct.
by itself. And I think one thing that really resonates is the authenticity and the kind of passion your mother used to put into this. I mean, through the story, it says it all.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. So moving on, today you're into the real estate business, but I want to ask you, how did the transition from your college, did it happen directly into real estate, or was there a specific gap you had?
After finishing BCom, I wanted to taste what is it like sweating it out, what is it like selling. So with the permission of my parents, I said I would like to do some job, and I picked up two jobs. One is selling telephone answering systems. I used to take a salary of 600 rupees per month, and believe me, if you go out to the market to sell something, people think it's easy. But when you go there, the first time I went to demonstrate, okay, within 15 minutes, my shirt was wet. I was dripping down, I was sweating, so I had to stop halfway, So that gave me a lot of insight of how it takes to go and sell a product, okay, and people have to accept it. It was a fantastic experience. And second, again, for 2 months, I worked in another company called Spectra Gases Private Limited, where I was on the field doing bank works, went to Chennai, Ambattur estate, set up a factory for them. So that also gave me a fantastic exposure. So these are the two things I did before moving on to my family business, Galaxy Tailors.
Superb. And I think here is a very small underlining that which I use in my business as well, sir. So I teach a lot of students, and there I keep telling my students who are in degree, please go intern, right? You, no matter how big a business you have, whatever it is, try working under somebody else. 6 months of internship, you wouldn't lose anything, or 2 months of internship, you wouldn't lose anything. I think here's a great insight for somebody to take some knowledge, come back and implement it in their own. So how did the next stint happen, sir? So what happened with your Galaxy Tailors, and how did that go about?
In Galaxy Tailors, I was there for 5 years, taking care of the staff, doing some shopping, went to Banaras to do some purchases. I went on my own. We had a staff of 30 tailors, so taking care of the payments. So it was a fantastic experience. In the meantime, I got married. My wife joined me in Galaxy, and then my brother, he got married. He joined, brother's wife got married, even they joined, and all of us were in Galaxy. And that is the time I said to myself that I would like to actually explore my passion. My passion was being on the field. Okay. My passion was networking. My passion was meeting other people. And I could only relate it to going on the field, and the only thing which came into my mind was real estate. So I went and explored. I used to sit in Galaxy for half a day, explore real estate for the other half. Once I tasted the first blood, did the first deal, I told my parents that this is what I would like to be in. So I went into real estate in 1995.
That's quite interesting, because a lot of people, especially youngsters today, get into business without validation or proof. And I think that you did very well. So I want to know how this happened, sir. What was your first deal like? Give me a little more insight. What was your feeling throughout the deal?
So my dad introduced me to his childhood friend, Mr. Natwalal, and he must be around 70, 75 years at that time. So I interacted with him because even he was into real estate. He showed me a property in Shantinagar. The same day I called up Chartered Housing, Mr. Balkrishna Hegde and Rajendran. So I told them the property. They heard it over the phone. The next day morning they went and saw the property. In the morning after seeing the property, they said call for a meeting. In the afternoon, I called for a meeting with the client, and within 24 hours, the deal was closed. Means we gave a signing token advance, and it was, for me, it was is it so good? It is so clean, it happens so fast. So I went back home and I said, this is where I would like to be. And that's how I got into real estate.
Superb. Sir, now into what services do you offer is what I want to know, because you've been in business for close to over 2 decades now. This first success story, you spoke about this property. So I'm quite intrigued to know what are your services?
Real estate, we give you 100% solutions. We assist you in buying, selling, renting, joint development of properties. Earlier, I was catering only to Bangalore, but after building up a team, after joining BNI and getting to know a lot of people, now I can assist you with properties not only in Bangalore but other cities and other countries also.
Okay, that's lovely. So now you've expanded your horizon across the shores. One thing that I've known is, sir, real estate is a massive industry. In fact, one of the biggest. I want to know what makes you different. What, according to you, what makes you different from the rest of the people that's out there?
I think in real estate, you require patience, you require honesty, and transparency. Patience, because it's not rosy. I did the first deal and I said to my parents, I want to be in real estate. The moment the year I got into real estate, 1995, the market crashed. And it crashed miserably. Okay, and there was no business. So, but if you have the willpower and if you have the patience and you says yes, that I would like to stay in the same business, it was like a filtration period. So all the unwanted people got out of it. And this crash happened not once over the last 25 years, it's happened 5 times. And each time it crashed, you have a lot of people coming out of it. But if you are patient and if you have determination that you're going to make it good, you will make it good. Number second is you have to be honest. Honest to yourself, honest to the people you're working with, and transparent. So if you put all these three things together, you get a fantastic word which is called integrity. So if you have integrity in whatever you're doing, you'll be successful.
Correct. I think that's a great takeaway, to have integrity in whatever you do, and integrity in thought and in action, of course. I think that's a very good takeaway. And moving on, I want to know, you mentioned BNI, right? You mentioned BNI being a significant part for you to expand, for you to grow, and you've been a very big strong pillar in BNI. And I, for one, as a guest who came the very first day, was able to recognize that. So I want to know, how did you get into this part of BNI, sir? How did you get into BNI?
So BNI, it was around 11 years back when I had a small office. By the time I had moved on to Jayanagar, I had a small office measuring 10 feet by 14 feet, 140 square feet. And a good friend of mine, Krishnamurthy from Town Hardware, he comes into my office, and whenever he comes, we always chat for some time, have a cup of coffee. And he came, sat, and after having coffee, he says, you know what, I forgot the reason I came here. He says, I want you to attend a networking session called BNI. He says, I'm retired, it's good for you. He literally ordered me to go and attend that. Okay, so I went and attended a BNI meeting, and for me it was love at first sight. It's been 11 years since I am in BNI, and I have grown tremendously. I was in a small office. I've moved into a larger office space. We were only 2 people working. We are now 6 people working. In this last 11 years, I have done a turnover of more than 650 crores of business, only by the referrals I have got from BNI.
Wow, I think that's an absolute testimony. And for everybody who's a new member, I think this is proof to say that, wait, like you said, have patience, believe in yourself, and at most have integrity, and it definitely happens. I think that's a number that is quite still startling. I'm counting how many zeros are there in 650 crores. But again, at the end of it, sir, I want to know that if for you to reach these places, there are people you've impacted and there are people who've impacted you. And can you talk about some of your impacts with the real estate people around, like you've worked with some of the top brands in real estate. I'm pretty sure you've had some sort of relation. Any stories on those fronts? You have some of the biggest guys in Bangalore.
So I'd like to go back again in the year when I had started real estate. I started in 95. In 97, when I was just going through Vittal Malai Road, I saw a name board being lifted up on the first floor, and that was the name board of Mantri Developers.
Okay.
So I walked into his office, met Manish Chandak, Nimish Chandak, became friends with him. In 1999, Sushil Mantri came to Bangalore, and he is the first person to meet him was me. And I met him, and he wanted to launch his first project called Mantri Woodlands in Banargata Road. And the market was absolutely bad. To sell one apartment in a month means you're doing good business. And he wanted to launch his first project in Bangalore, Mantri Woodlands. And I offered him to take the title sponsorship of a ICE exhibition. It's a consumer exhibition on Banargata Road. I said, take the title sponsorship, you'll get good mileage, and I'm sure you'll be able to sell. So he told me I will take with 2 riders. The first rider, he says, that I want you to leave your office and come and sit with me and my staff for 28 days in the exhibition in marketing the apartments. Second, he says, I want an assurance that 10 apartments will be sold during 28 days. So I took up both with a challenge, sat with a team with Sushil Mantri, Snehal Mantri, Vinay Nagpal and the entire marketing team over there for 28 days. Forget 10 apartments. We sold 64 apartments in those 28 days. And that, Lalit, was the marking of Mantri Developers in Bangalore. And from that time onwards, there's no looking back. So I can relate to delivering 100% success from 1% possibility, even from this story. Because they were not confident that they can sell 10 apartments, but they landed up selling 64 apartments. And I'm telling you, from that moment onwards, Mantri has never looked back.
Wow. I think going with an expectation and not just delivering to it, but smashing it out of the house and literally going close to 600% is something amazing. And I think for any company that would be a great kickstart. And that's a great story, Santosh sir. Now I want to ask, we've been talking about the success part. We've spoken about how you've achieved that 650 crores. We've spoken about your collaboration with Mantri from where they began, which was a very humble beginning. I want to ask for anybody who is interested in entering into this real estate market. They will have a certain mindset. But what is your advice to these individuals who want to enter this market?
It's a fantastic market, as I told you. And I have told you these 3 words. If you want to enter real estate, you have to enter with these 3 powerful things: is patience, honesty and transparency. Without these, you will not survive. You can make a quick buck in real estate. Okay, you can make a fantastic money, and overnight you can be successful. But those are shortcuts. To give you an example is, in one of the transactions around 15 years back, okay, I was offered a bribe of 1 crore between the 2 partners. I was offered a bribe of 1 crore just to keep my mouth shut so that the transaction goes smoothly. To keep my mouth shut and hide a certain fact. I did not do that, because what will I do with that 1 crore? I'll buy money, I will go around the world, but will I get peace of mind? It's going to hit me every time I go back to sleep. So I didn't accept that. Okay, and because I didn't accept that, the other partner has become so good to me. He has landed up giving me businesses multiple times of that. So honesty is very important. Anyone who's coming into real estate, my advice is there is no shortcut to success. Go the hard way and you're going to enjoy your success.
And I'm pretty sure that coming from somebody who's been awarded the Realtor of the Year several times by leading developers of India. Sir, if somebody aspires to reach the height that you have, You've spoken about the qualities that one should have. I want to ask, what are the skills that one should have? Now, skills are different from this individual trait. So, what is the skill that one individual should have to in this area to reach your height?
I think one is to be a good listener, uh, because listening is an art. Only when you listen, you'll learn. If you keep talking, you will not learn. Okay, that's a very beautiful quote by Dalai Lama. Second thing is, don't go to sell your properties. Okay, first make relationships, because making relationships is the most important thing. Business will come automatically. In BNI, we say, okay, if you come to BNI to get business, first learn to give. Getting business is automatically. So, first learn to give it out to people. First, build on your relationships. Business will automatically come, it will come by default.
Correct. And I think if you this says, sir, network is your net worth, and the network you build is the kind of relationships you have, and that is going to be the determinant factor as to how successful you will be. And I think those are some amazing words that you gave us. Next question is, how important is it for somebody to be a part of these networking channels like BNI, or any other networking channel, in fact, which suits them? Why is it important to be in this kind of community?
BNI has been a life changer. The first life changer for me was Milt. The second is BNI, because it teaches you so many skills. We've gone to school, we have gone to colleges, but in school and colleges they don't teach you how to network. In BNI they teach you. They have so many different training programs, for training, for skills training. So you have to be a part of a couple of these network organizations, let it be JCs or Toastmasters or BNI. Minimum you will have to be a part of two. This is my advice to all the youngsters, be a part of at least two network organizations and you will do wonders.
Correct. And again, I feel so validated because recently I was helping one of my students who's trying to go abroad again and was asking me, Lalit, what is the best possible way that I can get recruited by this, specific university? And I looked up the charts, and it was one of the top universities in the US. And the first thing that they ask you is, how have you impacted your community around you? That is one of the most important questions some of these top universities even ask aspiring people. So I think it is a very important fundamental rule to be a part of a community, be a part of a giving community, and through that you will receive a lot more. And I think, all these takeaways that I'm going to have, I'm going to use it back in class for my students to validate my statements. Sir, I have one question. I always believe in life you move on. In whatever it is, you move on from a very good phase, you have a bad phase, you again move on to a good phase. Now, you for one have had an amazing run in BNI, for sure. You've had like over 46 plus crores of business. You've had over 10 you have the 10 diamond pin. You've invited over 1,000 visitors, and literally a distinction in, it's like you have a BNI PhD. Now, the thing is, what makes you still be a part of BNI when you've achieved everything possible and everybody knows you?
BNI is your family. So how can you just walk away from that? So there are a lot of members who have achieved a certain pinnacle and then they say that BNI is not for me now. Okay. And they have moved on. Even I can say the same thing. BNI is not for me and I can move on. But you are what you are is because of BNI. Okay, now it's time for you to give it back. The more you give it back, the more you are going to grow. So I think I still have to give a lot more to BNI. And that's why I'm here. And BNI and me can never be separated for one more simple reason is Bhurani starts with a B and ends with a NI.
That's a nice analogy. I mean, did it just hit you someday, or did somebody tell you about this? You picked it up?
I was just going through my visiting card and I put my thumb and where I covered HURA, and I saw, it's BNI.
That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you come across such nice things when you don't expect it at all.
Okay.
Sir, I have last two questions. You spoke about giving and the impact of giving, and you've received so much, you've given so much back. I feel giving is a very spiritual process. Do you believe in spirituality, and what is spirituality for you?
Obviously, giving can be in any format. I have donated blood 80 times, and I thank each time I donate blood. I thank God because I'm in a position, I'm in good health to donate blood, and the kind of blessings I get from the patients' relatives is amazing. So giving is always fantastic. And when you give unconditionally, it is even more great. So, whenever I get a business from BNI, the first person I thank is not the person who gave me business, but I thank Krishnamurti, who introduced me to BNI.
Wow. I mean, that's why they say. So yesterday, Ram sir was speaking about the farming and the hunting concept, right? And this is such a farming story where he introduced you to BNI, and because of your growth in BNI, there are so many success stories that you've been able to get it, and that's a lovely story, sir. One last question: through all these successes that you've seen, there are so many things that you've achieved that not many people could think of. What is next in store for you, sir? What are you looking for in the next 5 years or 10 years? What do you want to go achieve or do?
I just want to keep inspiring people. That's it, nothing else. It's like, you gift a fish to somebody, he's going to eat that fish and he's going to be happy for a day or two. Okay? But if you teach that man fishing, he's going to be happy for the rest of his life and he's going to remember you. So I would like to keep inspiring other people in any way, whatever I can. Invite to BNI and make them a part of BNI so that they can keep more business year after year. In any way you can help them. It need not be by calling them to BNI or anything, but simple, small things you can do just to make their lives different. And if I have at the end of my life 100 people who have inspired because of me with what things I have done for them, I think my life is fulfilled.
Fantastic. And I think that's a very, very nice way to put things, because through all the success, the only way is to give back, and you've been giving back, and now you say for the next 5 to 10 years that you want to do that. And I think by just speaking those words, you've put so many of us watching this video to inspire more people. I think that's the way to go. First seek inspiration, then try to inspire more people to grow, become successful in their own successful way. Sir, so we come to the end of this wonderful segment of the first part. Moving on, we have a rapid fire round where we'll try to know your answers within 5 seconds.
Okay.
And are you ready for it, sir?
I'm always ready.
You're always ready. So, sir, my first question to you is, what motivates you to get out of bed in the morning?
To do something different, to be a better person.
Okay. Name another business profession you wouldn't mind getting into.
Maybe training.
Training? Oh, that's lovely. Name 3 business leaders you would want to have a discussion with over dinner.
All the 3 top Indian leaders, Azim Premji, and Ratan Tata, and Narayan Murthy.
Fantastic. The top 3.
Top 3.
If you were given $1 million, what would you do with it?
I would like to split it up into 10 different business segments and put it into 10 different startup companies.
Like invest that whole money. Superb. If you were given a watermelon, what would you do with it?
Watermelon. Okay. Either I would share it with somebody.
Okay.
Or on the crazier part of it, I would make a hole, pour a bottle of vodka into it, call for a party and split it and give them one piece each.
And I'm pretty sure you and Mr. Ram Samtani would be hosting this party together because he gave me the same answer. So I think, this party is hosted by Santosh Bhurani and Ram Samtani.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sir, moving on. What are some of the most inspirational books or videos that you've come across?
The Secret, it's fantastic.
The Secret?
Yeah.
Have you watched the video version of it?
Yeah,
as well?
I've seen the video and I've read the book also.
Fantastic. If you authored a book, what would it be called?
Undoubtedly, it would be called Delivering 100% Success from 1% Possibility. In fact, I have already registered that book.
Oh, superb. So is it coming out anytime soon?
It should be coming out.
Oh, superb. What is the best advice you've ever got?
The best advice I got during MILT days is you are what you are because of the decisions you have taken in the past. It's a fantastic line. You are what you are because of the decisions you have taken in the past.
I think that takes a moment. You have to pause there and go through it. However, it is the rapid fire round and we keep moving on. So are you a coffee or a tea person?
In the morning it's tea, in the evening it's coffee.
So you're both. Indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor.
Outdoor. If you could teach one subject in school, what would it be?
Networking, because they don't teach you networking.
Superb. Favorite movie?
Agnipath.
Agnipath. Okay. What is the must-have item in your pocket when you leave the house?
Positive attitude.
Positive. Well, I'm impressed with that answer. Formals or casuals?
Again, during the weekdays it's formals, weekends is casuals.
Casuals. What was your worst subject in school?
Hindi.
That's a nightmare for a lot of people. What would you do on a rainy day?
Oh, love to just go out on a drive.
Okay, a drive on a rainy day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a new. What would you do to relax?
Listen to music.
Listen to music. If you could make a documentary about anything, what would it be?
I would love to make a documentary on my mother. She's been an inspiration and this is what I would just love to do.
Superb. And I'm pretty sure if your mother ever got an opportunity to watch it, it would be such a beautiful moment in terms of giving back to your mother. Beautiful. So one last question. What's your favorite quote?
I'll tell you two quotes. One is by Azim and others by Ratan Tata. So Ratan Tata says that I don't take the right decisions. I take my own decisions and make them right.
Super.
And Azim Premji says that if nobody is laughing at your goals are not big enough.
Big enough. True. I think those are golden words etched in the sands of time. And thank you so much, Santosh sir, for coming onto this podcast. We come to the end of this segment and the podcast. It's been a great pleasure to learn from somebody like you. And I, for one, have had the best possible opportunity to sit here and I've enjoyed this. I don't know how much you've enjoyed it, but I've enjoyed it wholeheartedly and thoroughly. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And before we leave this episode, I have 3 specific takeaways for the audience today through this podcast. The first thing is the power of belief. If you can believe in yourself with just 1% of chance of success, and there are so many 100% of possibilities that will come out. So I think your tagline for me is my first takeaway, and especially for an entrepreneur, it makes all the sense in the world. The second one is patience, and if you don't have patience, not only in the real estate industry, but also in life, and to reach the level of success or any kind of goals you have, patience is extremely important. And more than patience, you got to also have honesty and transparency, which then will combine to become integrity. The final one is the power of networking. Networking and building strong relationships is the base and the fundamental to become any sort of successful individual or business. So these are my 3 specific takeaways for this session, sir. Thank you so much once again for coming. So ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this wonderful show. So please do make sure you drop your comments below. Give us your feedback. We would love to know what you feel about the episode, the podcast. And we'll also be tagging some of Santosh sir's links. Do click on it and check it out. Until next time, thank you so much, and we will see you soon.